McGraw-Hill Professional presents The CEO Difference: How to Climb, Crawl, and Leap Your Way to the Next Level of Your Career. Written by D.A. Benton. Narrated by Kelley Hazen. Introduction. I know you're a solid citizen. You're a quick learner and truly smart. You try hard. You're pretty cool. You get along with people. You set a respectable example. You want to help and connect with others, to serve society. You aim to contribute meaningful work. You have dreams and goals to achieve something groundbreaking. You're motivated by money, title, and power to a certain extent, but you are more motivated by growth opportunities and success for your kids. You plan to accelerate your career growth quickly, to play full out, use all your talent, and bring something to the world it hasn't had before. And, at least on paper, you are just like every other ambitious individual. Let me ask you, who couldn't say those things about himself or herself? That list of career aspirations is remarkably alike and interchangeable for almost everyone. It's acceptable, but not exceptional. Today, you have to exceed in a group of exceeders. As fine as you are and as well as you're doing, you can do better. So people will want to promote you, conduct business with you, follow you, and recommend you to others. Even if you are the best in class, your competition is good too. Percentage-wise, there aren't too many lousy slacker workers in corporate America. According to a recent United Nations report, U.S. employees beat all 27 nations in the European Union, Japan, and Switzerland in productivity. You're around a lot of competent people across companies, functions, and jobs who are thinking and doing the same thing in their career as you are doing in yours. Added to that, there are plenty of excellent people coming around the corner. Aside from the natural need to earn a living, their main goal is similar to yours: to do enjoyable, creative work and flourish in the world. Talents and dreams are quite universal. What you do with them is not. Differentiate yourself big time. If you want to be uber marketable and have potent impact not only in your life and career, but with everyone around you, you have to set yourself apart from every other overachiever with whom you compete. You can't just putt-putt around. Why? Because there is no second chance. This is your one life to live. Isn't that reason enough? What's more, people who excel always do things differently from others, and those who do differentiate themselves find that they are performing better in all aspects of life. Keep in mind, that's how your boss chooses whom to promote among comparably talented people. When all candidates look good on paper, this difference is what recruiters look for. No matter your age, someone younger, and likely less expensive, is ready to push you aside. Today's technology is constantly advancing, allowing more people to compete with you globally. One new manager told me this. The stakes are even higher with a virtual workplace. I see my boss once a week, not every day, and I can't leave anything to chance. With today's ongoing advancements in technology, you're competing with more talent than at any time in history, and not just in the United States, but also in China, India, Mexico, Africa, Japan, Brazil, and about 145 other countries. The digital world makes a rightful meritocracy. If you do souped-up work as a way to differentiate yourself among your competitors, you'll win out. It doesn't matter where you come from, who you are, or who you know. Though most people like to believe they are singular, unique, and one of a kind in their assignments, few are. Across the world, we are more similar than dissimilar. Yet, as fate would have it, your boss is looking for someone singular who outshines the rest. You see, right now, private conversations are taking place in secret sessions. behind closed doors with shades drawn, management muckety-mucks sitting in high black leather chairs are thinking hard about you and a smattering of your competitors. One person is enthusiastically singled out with the confirmatory statement, "He's different." Someone asks, "What do you mean?" And the muckety-muck answers, "He fits in, but he stands out from the rest too. He does more, gets more out of others, knows more, cares more, and is more." Those few words carry significant ramifications in your work life, usurping the university you attended, companies you've worked for, titles you've held, and any other personal or professional pedigree attached to you. Not everyone is going to be able to move up. Company leaders are scrutinizing your skills and talent, performance, and results. They are looking at the continuous competitive advantage you furnish the organization and the effect you have on others. You want to be the one to leave an echo beyond the room, meaning the one about whom the conversation keeps going after she has left the scene. As one female friend put it, the often-quoted Coco Chanel said it well, "In order to be irreplaceable, one must always be different." There is a lot you can't control in life, but there are ways in which you can exert more echo. Find what differentiates you. Do regular things in a different way. Do different things than your competitors do. All of those actions will add value as you contend. A Forbes article by Carl Moore, January 28, 2013, reported on the 3 stages of a career. The first is establishing relationships and gaining know-how. The second stage is differentiating yourself. And the third is passing it on. My only argument is that the differentiating needs to be in all 3 stages, from the beginning to the end. If it's not in the first, how will you stand out from others doing the same thing? And if you don't do it in the last stage, who is going to want to learn from you? You cannot produce average, mediocre, lackluster results at any stage in your career, or you will be forever racing to catch up. You have to fight extra hard to more than just measure up. If you take the position that all you want is just to hang on to your job, you won't be in the game long. 4 CEOs on differentiating yourself. Darrell Brewster, CEO of the Committee Encouraging Corporate Philanthropy, CECP, and formerly the CEO of Krispy Kreme and the president of Nabisco. You can meet results and exceed expectations. You can gain experiences that fill a gap. You can be relevant. But you must still find a way to differentiate yourself through your performance and your leadership to advance your career. Reid Hoffman, LinkedIn co-founder. How are you first, only, faster, better, or cheaper than other people who want to do what you're doing in the world? What are you offering that's hard to come by? What are you offering that's both rare and valuable? John Krebs, president of Krebs & Associates, formerly the CEO of PAC. If you have a message to deliver, it gets lost if no one sees you, knows you, or notices you. You get lost, too, being part of a crowd. Peter Minetti, managing partner of iSherpa Capital. Because iSherpa is a venture capitalist firm, people come to us with ideas all the time. The people who stand out are engaging, and they create mutual understanding. They paint a vision you can grasp and a clear next step that moves you from skepticism to collaboration. Recently, I met a 28-year-old who had just sold his business and was starting a new company. I joined his board because he caught my eye. He has a special quality about him. He is a college dropout, obviously self-educated, but he can talk about all kinds of things. He asks thoughtful questions, then makes good statements full of interesting ideas. Plus, He is fun to be around. He isn't full of himself. He engages you, and he is the type who causes me to say, I want this person on my team. Interchangeable is replaceable. To differentiate is not to one-up, grandstand, show off, or beat someone else for personal gain. It's to surpass where you were yesterday, last week, and last year. It's being distinct to make a difference. To stand out from the pack, you don't have to be 6 feet 8 inches tall, wear your clothes inside out, be a blonde Norwegian working in South Texas, or be a loud, obnoxious extrovert. You don't have to get another advanced degree, work a 14-hour day, labor 8 days a week, lose weight, change the color of your hair, or name your firstborn after your boss. You can be modest, self-effacing, hardworking, quiet, and effective. Just do a little more, a little better in a multitude of areas to be both rare and valuable. Fortunately, you'll find it's not that difficult. One CEO I interviewed spoke to me about an employee who started out working for the catering company that supplied the corporate cafeteria. The man had immigrated to this country in hopes of providing more opportunity for his family. The job he got was as a food server for the corporate caterer. But he didn't just ladle soup or drop chicken strips on a paper plate. He did more. He stood tall with pride. He wasn't hunched over, oppressed, or grumpy-looking. He was friendly with everyone coming down the line, including the serious-faced executives. He smiled at them, even if they didn't smile back, and he remembered their names. He put in the extra effort to offer samples to taste before the executives made a food choice. He could recall favorite foods they liked, and he would point out, Mr. Blank, I noticed you liked the cucumber salad, and we have that again today. Or, did you see that we have fresh, local sliced peaches? He always went the extra mile and a half, including being particularly neat in his grooming, even wearing a suit and tie every day, which was not the typical server dress, and he did not wear business casual on Fridays. Frankly, he dressed like the senior executives dressed. During his work break, he would roam the area instead of retreating to the kitchen, checking to see if someone needed a drink refill or a second helping. Even though the setup was largely self-serve, he continued to be of service. He would go to the cafeteria attendant, bring her a beverage or dessert treat, and even offer to run errands for her, make copies, or deliver packages throughout the office building. Whenever his name came up in front of and behind closed doors, it was always with, "Isn't he great?" The company ended up changing catering vendors, but the employees didn't want to lose this particular server, so they petitioned to keep him on, resulting in the man's getting the newly created job of manager of the corporate cafeteria, a big step from being a vendor's server. His behavior created a career for himself that included benefits and a pension, something he hadn't had before. When Superstorm Sandy ravaged the corporate headquarters, resulting in people being temporarily laid off, everyone insisted he remain on. The CEO told me, he has the most job security in the entire company, even more than I have. Most people will read the above paragraphs and think, that's nice. But few will decide to take it upon themselves to consistently do more and do more better. To distinguish yourself from all the other also-rans, be in that elite group who will do more. Your boss won't have to be a member of Mensa to see the difference. It's not too early or too late. You have to continue to differentiate yourself at each stage in your career. Regardless of your age, at every point in your life, there is a younger person eager to step into your job. If you are 30 years old, there is an impatient 20-something coming up on you. At 40, there is that pesky 30-year-old. One 60-year-old CEO told me about a 44-year-old knocking on his door to take over the company, his own son. The problem is that you, like others, had the impetus to do something and be someone when you started your career. But then the realities of life set in with marriages, children, divorces, debts, illnesses, and career hiccups. Then someone sped up the clock when you weren't watching, and now a bleak picture frequently pops up of you aging fast in an outdated building, lined with long rows of gray cubicles, and you were pushing paper and working in a mundane and mind-numbing job with no excitement or significance. Put all that real life together, and it can become a little discouraging. It could make you question yourself, or even give up, disengage, chuck it all, and drop out. But you can't, because you have responsibilities, pride, dreams, hopes, and the need to prove to yourself you do have it in you to create an extremely meaningful personal and professional existence. When you want something you've never had, you have to do something you've never done. Whatever your age, job situation, work history, or family way, turn up the juice going forward. Do it now. Do it for your team, your company, and yourself. That is, unless you are ready to give up. But if you are like me, you aren't about to give up. You must realize that personal reinvention never ends, whether you have a little gray hair or no hair. This book is not about selfishly ratcheting yourself up the ladder. Instead, I'm writing about how to be a success. It's not just your advancement plan we're dealing with, but the advancement of your team, group, and organization. You distinguish yourself by constantly asking these questions. How can I outdo others who could fill the role? What more can I do for the team? How can I add extra value to my boss's work? What could I do next to be more useful to my colleagues? Where can I improve that helps my boss's boss and the whole business? You're not going to fall into your future. You're going to have to climb, crawl, and leap in. As Warren Buffett said in his 2013 annual meeting for Berkshire Hathaway, you want restlessness, a feeling that somebody's always after you, but you're going to stay ahead. If your career hasn't been as stellar as you expected, here's your chance for a second shot, a do-over, a new start, a second wind, another take. If this is your first time at bat, great. If you've been there and want to do it again, wonderful. If you're looking for one last hurrah, that's cool too. To have a great life and an electrifying career, you have to distinguish yourself from a lot of good people. You need to continue to prove your own mettle and influence other people to do likewise. You have to turn it up a notch. Go all out. If you aren't distinct and separate, your boss will find someone who is. A career reality check. Smart people do stupid things all the time when they forget that, at this moment, the next new big thing is coming around the corner, chasing them. In that situation, frankly, the less talented individual will win out if he or she has more fight. If you think your personal brilliance will keep you above the fray, you're wrong. If you think none of this affects you yet, you're wrong again. How you decide to act in the next few minutes will decide the person you're going to be from now on. So shut the door, ignore unsolicited emails, and let the phone calls go to voicemail. A personal relevance reality check. Take a moment for a personal relevance reality check, because at any age these painful things can start happening to you, and if they do, you'll want to change your course of behavior. You increasingly feel that your smarts aren't getting you anywhere, that your skills aren't being used. You aren't sought out or taken seriously by colleagues and managers. You sense disregard for your authority by those above, below, or around you. You can't seem to gain new responsibilities, and your current ones are being chipped away. Your honest self-assessment tells you that your expertise doesn't always fit present-day needs. You aren't with it. Your ideas to improve work aren't welcome. You experience notable indignities, such as being ignored in meetings, being left out of the loop on key decisions, or being omitted from the circulation lists from important emails, meetings, and social gatherings. You get heavy and steady criticism of your work. You are frequently passed over for the most interesting, important, or prestigious assignments. All of these things can happen if you allow them to happen. But you, my dear reader, will not let this happen. You've got the fight in you, or you are ready to get it back if you've let it slip. Right now, take your age in years and multiply it by 365. That's how many days you are old. Whether you are 10,220 days old or 21,275 days old, it's only one single day that makes a change in your life, not a year. Each one of your days has a start, a morning, noon, night, and an end. You have to vow to yourself to make something of the 1,440 minutes you have each day. Take just a few of those minutes and use them to put effort into doing things a little out of the ordinary, a little beyond anyone else's efforts. Don't put this book down until you can take away one idea or thought to distinguish yourself in whatever situation you are currently in today. The truth is, not everyone will follow that advice, but if you do, then you're already starting to set yourself apart. The ultimate goal. My purpose is to help you master the what, how, and why of productively distinguishing yourself from other great people, to benefit both your organization and you. I went to some of the best CEOs and C-level executives in the country and asked these questions. What causes you to positively notice an employee when you hire or promote? What is a big separator to you between comparably talented people? What did you do to differentiate yourself in your own career? From those conversations, I found numerous traits that cause individuals to stand out from the crowd. Traits that will be discussed at length in the following chapters. Any one of them might be enough to move you to the next level, but if you have all of them, you are certain to have separators on steroids, the good kind. You'll be off the charts as you leap ahead further and faster than your competition. There is no one template for every job, of course. One CEO told me, I don't want a creative, risk-taking accountant. But another said, I want an innovative, risk-taking accountant. You'll find everything is in the eye of the beholder. With any of the differentiating traits, you have to leave the ordinary behind, maybe buck the system a little, or at least not go where the crowd goes, regardless of your age or current success. Just as companies must constantly change and evolve, so must you. Steve Ballmer, formerly the CEO of Microsoft, speaking at a corporate conference, described how companies achieve more success. You either move ahead or you go away. Those 8 words apply to you as well. Think of running your career like running a business. You are the commander-in-chief of your career, the captain of your industry, and the CEO of your life. At every juncture in your career, you have to fight to keep ahead. And by fight, I don't mean food or fists flung or flying bar stools. I mean you don't slack off, use half measures, play it safe, or be commonplace and ordinary, because someone will eat your lunch if you do. If you don't stay competitive, you're going to have a problem moving you and your group forward. If you don't initiate, stand up, and step out, someone else will. If you're not prominent, you're going to blend in. And frankly, blending in is the worst thing you can do for your career. To be different and better, You have to work full on and flat out. Fire on all cylinders, stand out, get ahead of the curve, and be all in. As the saying goes, lead or get out of the way. The beauty is, it only requires more thought and energy than others are willing to put to it, and that's not hard to do. My aim with this book is to make the extra effort and attention that you put into setting yourself apart as uncomplicated and doable as possible. My approach is anti-complexity. I'm taking the mystery out of the dance. My focus is on helping you in being authentic in what makes you special, capable of successfully and effectively communicating your offerings across a diverse organization, team, or tribe, able to use your distinction for your own career acceleration and satisfaction, skilled in using what you learn to achieve something larger than yourself. Let me be clear. When you differentiate yourself, your goal is not to be a nonconformist, a rebel, a misfit, or a show-off. Nor is it for you to be contrary, arrogant, and strange. It is not for your personal ego lift. Rather, it is for you to be part of something bigger than you. Distinguishing yourself is meant to help you break the mold, modify what exists, and disrupt patterns for more effective outcomes in your personal and professional life. Not everyone will follow this advice. Not everyone can. But you aren't everyone, are you? Why am I so passionate about this simple philosophy? Because I've seen it make a measurable difference in people's lives, including my own. I was raised in an average middle-class mid-America family of small business owners. Both of my parents and most of my relatives had some sort of business in which they were the boss. For example, grocery store, drugstore, farm, ranch, or dress shop. Around the dinner table, they always talked about their work, and from a young age, I noticed that they were always trying and succeeding in doing things a little differently. It was a challenge for them to always vary and alter what they offered, how they presented, and what they did to contend with their competitors, friends and foes. Doing more was a constant in their lives, and it was necessary to survive financially. They weren't paragons of perfection, but their example gave me permission to be different at a young age, at a time in life when most kids try to be the same as each other. It became second nature for me to seek out the seldom tried or unusual approach. I took flying lessons before I was old enough to get my driver's license, competed in pageants at the height of bra-burning feminism, wore short hair and dresses when all the girls wore long hair and jeans, and worked at a radio station so the disc jockeys would help me study for my FCC broadcast license. From junior high on, I earned my own spending money from various sales jobs, and by age 13, I was managing 2 girls who were working for me. I graduated from Colorado State University in 1974 with a 4-year degree in economics that I had earned in 3 years. I chose to major in economics at the last minute, while I was in the registration line, because I noticed that all males were signed up for that subject. It wasn't that I was boy crazy, or that I had any special interest in economics. I chose it for 2 reasons. 1, I felt that men still largely controlled the business world, and it would be important to learn what they were learning. And 2, I wanted to do things differently than the other female students. My education was always what I wanted it to be. I never lusted for advanced degrees, and instead I jumped head-on into my calling, starting my own career consulting company 2 years after graduation. Someone described the move at the time as an act of desperation to do something productive. I hired the experienced talent necessary to conduct the consulting, and I ran the business part, as I constantly fed my curiosity, read, talked to other business owners, introduced new ideas, observed how successful leaders worked, and experimented to develop my own niche. It dawned on me early in my career that the top of the business world would be the best place to learn from, over academics. Although
Sample complete. Ready to continue?